Nobody could have predicted this 6 months ago. Pakistan, a country the world mostly watches for the wrong reasons, is now the phone everyone's picking up first. Trump's reposting Islamabad's tweets. Iran's foreign minister is publicly thanking Pakistan. And behind closed doors, Field Marshal Asim Munir is reportedly doing something no other world leader has managed, keeping both Washington and Tehran at the same table at the same time without either side walking out. Let's break down exactly how this happened, why it matters, and why the answer should make you a little uncomfortable. When the US-Israel strikes on Iran began, most analysts were watching the usual suspects. Where's China? What's Russia doing? Will the EU try to broker something? Pakistan wasn't on that list. But here's what happened in the background. Munir called Trump. Sharif called Pezeshkian. Then Sharif called MBS. Then Dar called Tehran, Brussels, Abu Dhabi, and Baghdad. Within days, Pakistani officials had spoken to over 20 world leaders. Not because anyone asked them to, because they decided this was their moment. And the thing is, it worked. Pakistan has reportedly relayed a 15-point US ceasefire proposal directly to Tehran. That's not just phone calls, that's substantive diplomatic logistics. That's message carrying with strategic intent. The question isn't whether Pakistan got lucky. The question is why Pakistan was even positioned to do this in the first place. Here's the core of it. Most countries right now are stuck. Gulf states host American military bases. Saudi Arabia has been directly attacked by Iran. Egypt and Turkey are involved enough that their neutrality is questionable. India just had its PM visit Israel days before strikes began. China and Russia are providing diplomatic cover for Tehran, but aren't pressing either side toward actual resolution. Pakistan sits in a gap that almost no other country occupies. It has no US bases on its soil. It hasn't been militarily entangled in the conflict. It has a functioning relationship with Iran going back decades, including with the IRGC leadership at the institutional level. At the same time, Munir has been building a personal rapport with Trump for over a year. Lunch at the White House, Oval Office meetings. Pakistan even nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in June 2025. So when Munir calls, Trump picks up. And when Sharif calls Tehran, Pezeshkian listens. That's rare. That's genuinely rare in the current landscape. And then there's the Saudi dimension. Pakistan signed a defense pact with Riyadh last year. Analysts assumed that would make Iran wary. It didn't. Ironically, Iran welcomed the agreement, framing it as a regional stabilizing force rather than a threat. Tehran essentially read it as Pakistan maintaining balance, not picking sides. That perception has held through the war, and it's a significant reason Pakistan can still operate on both ends. This goes beyond passing notes. Reuters reported something that barely got the attention it deserved. Israel had coordinates for Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bakr Kalibaf. Real-time assassination targets. Pakistan contacted Washington and made the case directly. If you eliminate the people we'd negotiate with, there's no one left to talk to. The Israelis pulled back. No other country achieved that in real time. Not China, not Russia, not the EU. Pakistan made a single argument, and it altered battlefield targeting decisions mid-conflict. That's not message carrying, that's leverage. And leverage changes the nature of mediation entirely. It shifts Pakistan from a postal service into an actor with genuine influence over outcomes. Now here's where the narrative gets sharper. India has spent the last decade building its case as an indispensable global player. G20 presidency, Global South leadership, strategic partnerships with Washington, Tel Aviv, and across the Gulf. It wants a permanent seat at every serious geopolitical table. And right now, it's watching Pakistan work the phones from the sidelines. How did that happen? A few things collided at once. Modi visited Israel just before the strikes on Iran began. The optics destroyed any credibility India might have had as a neutral actor in Tehran's eyes. Then, when an Iranian vessel was sunk near Indian territorial waters after a joint naval exercise, Delhi's response was almost non-existent. Countries that India had signed strategic partnership letters with, like the UAE, were waiting for a signal. It never came. Jai Shankar called Pakistan a Dalal nation at an all-party meeting, essentially a broker state that sells its influence to the highest bidder. It was a sharp line. But underneath the rhetoric is something Delhi knows and won't say out loud. Pakistan's outreach is working, and India's calculated silence is being read as absence, not strategy. Michael Kugelman put it directly. India's ties with Washington are shaky. Its relationship with Tehran was never warm to begin with. And the Chabahar port, which was supposed to be the one substantive thread connecting Delhi and Tehran, has stalled. India had almost nothing to offer as a mediator, and it didn't try. The government's defense is that India doesn't mediate unless formally invited. Both in Russia, Ukraine, and now here, that stance has kept India clean, but kept it out of rooms where decisions are being made. The 10-day extension buys something for Trump at home. It lets him say talks are progressing. It gives him a narrative to present to Americans who are now paying significantly more to fill their tanks and board flights. It separates Trump the dealmaker from Trump the wartime president, a distinction he clearly wants to maintain. But economic pressure cuts both ways. Iran's population is also absorbing the cost of this war. The closure of Hormuz hasn't just hurt the global economy. It has squeezed Iran's own trade and created humanitarian strain inside the country. That creates pressure on Tehran too, which might explain why they let 10 oil tankers transit the strait as a goodwill gesture, while simultaneously asserting legal sovereignty over it. It's a calculated signal. We can open the valve, we can close it, and we decide. So here's where we land. April 6th is not a peace deadline. It's a decision point. By that date, several things will either have happened or not. Iran will have responded substantively to whatever U.S. counterproposal follows their rejection of the original 15 points. Israel will have either passed or blocked the conscription legislation its military is demanding. Trump will have had 2 more weeks of domestic economic pressure building against him. And the U.S. will have positioned additional Marine expeditionary units in the region. That last part is the one that doesn't get discussed enough. While Trump talks about talks going well, the U.S. is physically moving more military assets into position. That's not de-escalation preparation. That's optionality. It means whoever makes the call on April 6th will have more kinetic options available than they do today. Macquarie put the odds of a longer war extending to late June at 40%. That scenario, in their analysis, could push oil to $200 a barrel. That would be an economic event without modern precedent in terms of speed and severity. And none of the parties involved, not Washington, not Tehran, not Jerusalem, are fully in control of how this plays out. Here's the thought that should stay with you. Everyone involved in this conflict is publicly claiming they're winning. Trump says Iran has been obliterated. Iran says it's asserting its rights and awaiting a response. Israel's government says it's building buffer zones and meeting objectives. And yet, every single one of them has also extended a timeline, called for more resources, or quietly opened a backchannel. The 10-day pause isn't proof that de-escalation is coming. It's proof that nobody is ready to find out what happens if it doesn't. April 6th arrives either as the beginning of a deal or the beginning of something much harder to stop. We'll find out which one together.